Hello, everyone. My name is Phillip Martin, and you're watching the illest lines.
What's good, everybody? This is your B fam, Daniel Anthony, and this is the illest lines, where we talk about our favorite lines from certain songs because bars matter. So check this out. Today we got a gentleman by the name of Phillip Martin, and we're going to talk about his song "Down on My Knees." So I want to welcome him right now.
Thank you. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you coming and asking the questions.
Yeah, man. What's good? How's everything been lately?
Everything's been great, man. Blessed by God. I just, everything has been good. God is good. Blessed to be living and
Amen.
blessed to keep pushing forward. So
Amen. Amen. Now I know recently you had a pretty good milestone. Like, you just recently graduated from where again?
I just graduated from Appalachian State University. It's
Right.
located in Boone, North Carolina.
Right. Right.
I received my undergraduate in forensic chemistry,
Nice.
and I
Forensic chemistry.
also attained my forensic certificate at Appalachian State University. Currently,
Nice.
now I am at University of North Carolina at Charlotte,
Oh, okay.
and I'm studying criminology.
Nice, nice. Okay. So that's kind of a big contrast in regards to doing music as well. So how do you feel both of those came about in regards to your history with it? So first, let's go ahead, even since this is the illest lines, we'll go ahead and start with the music part. So when did you first start getting involved in the love of music to want to do it?
The love of music, it just came from my inspiration. So music is more of a feel. So I can go to a story about how I first started with music. So when I
Right.
first started, I remember I used to develop a stuttering problem, and I
Oh, is that
remember
right?
a stuttering problem I used to have. I was like a little kid. I say within about age 3 to 6,
Oh, okay.
and it would be hard to go about introducing myself to people. It would be hard to speak. And I
Oh,
remember I had a
wow.
second grade teacher. She she wasn't positive toward what I did. I remember she put that, I would be never efficient at nothing. I would be never be able to read with
Wow.
confidence. And she also said that I would never be able to be on my own and be able to think on my own. And yeah, it made
Wow.
me I had, and stuff like that when stuttering problem, it would affect. I'll be in like interviews sometime. I will be
Mm,
interviewing,
gotcha.
like in class or speaking to people. And one day I was like a kid, I love listening to music. So one day
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna write something about some emotional stuff. And I think through time, I was like, man, this was pretty deep. And I remember in high school, I had a poetry slam,
Hmm.
and that I think the poetry, you could do a poem with your music behind it. So I said, hey, I'm
Right.
gonna put some poem, and I'm gonna try to rap a bit.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna try. So I tried to put my things together, and I was like, wow, like I put it together, and then it started to evolve. And I remember in high school as well that it was a guy that we had to go to a leadership meeting, like in high school. Like if you would display certain qualities of leadership, or you had some type of thing you love to do, you went to this event. And I remember this one guy that was there. He rapped as well. He was from a different school, and we all went to this event, and we were like, it was like a big group of people. And one thing that was so interesting about this was, I remember it was one night. It was a bunch of guys. It was like 20 of us hanging out together,
Right.
just
Right.
kicking it. And they were like, "Oh, it's a guy in this crowd that's a gospel artist."
Yeah.
And one of them just pointed me out, like, "Oh, it's this guy right
Huh.
here." And it's another guy that raps, but he was talking about drill music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he wasn't a gospel artist. They were like, "Man." And so he was like, "Oh, okay." So we all in the room, like we're in a room, like a big room, just chilling.
Right.
He was like, "Oh, we can just throw some bars at each other."
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, "Man, we're supposed to be in." I'm like, "We're supposed to be in bed. We got to get up tomorrow. We got stuff to do the next day." They were like, "Nah,
That's
man, nah."
hilarious.
It's like 12 or 1 o'clock.
Wow.
I said, "Dude," and he come out the gate with just spitting. I'm like, "Okay, just let me put my thing together." So
Right,
we're just
right,
going at it like, having fun. I'm not no battle rapper or nothing.
right,
We
right,
were just having fun and like, it was a learning experience
right.
because, I had a lot to learn as artist and artistry and growing.
Got you.
So it was a lot to learn. It was fun.
Right.
And so yeah,
And how old were you again?
I was probably like 16 or 17.
Oh,
Man.
okay.
I was like real young. And I'm still
Oh,
young.
right, right.
I'm 23 right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so
Nice, nice. So yeah, no wonder why you were concerned about what time it was. I got a kid in the house. It's like, wait a minute, are the lights on outside? That's hilarious. So then, what fueled your influence? Not what fueled the influences. Who fueled you as far as like your influences in music? You know, whether it be secular or gospel, or has it always been gospel?
now who fueled me was I say more gospel related, like as artists. My parents have always, been there to support me, like, dude,
Awesome.
you do it, just keep going hard, keep your head up and
Right.
just keep learning. My
Yeah.
parents have always told me that, like, always keep learning. Don't never think, you just stop learning. And
Yeah.
that's with anything.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
School, college, anything. You just never stop learning. So my favorite influences as artists would be, I would say, first it would be Seven. You get
Oh,
Seven
okay.
is my
Yeah.
favorite. I listen to Seven. I don't care what day it is.
Yeah.
eh, I could really be going to class. I'm bumping Seven. I'm bumping some Bizzle. I'm
Right.
bumping my other one is Show Baraka.
Oh
Show
yeah.
Baraka is
Yeah.
like
He's dope.
my style isn't like his, but
Mm-hmm.
I love the old school flavor that his music brings.
Got you.
Um,
Got you.
well, I might listen to a little Cray. It's so many others. And my other person that I recently been checking out is AI.
Oh yeah.
I
Uh
love
huh.
AI.
She's real dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I love her music, and yeah, that's really about the ones I really listen to
Oh, okay.
on the most.
Now to kind of go back a little bit, because you were talking about, like the things that you dealt with as a kid, stuttering and all that with that teacher and all that. How do you feel that that itself influenced you in regards to how you led your life? Because sometimes people use those things as fuel to keep going. Sometimes people use those things as like, well, people told me I wasn't gonna ever do nothing, so I might as well do nothing. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times what happens is people don't realize that, as discouraging as people can be sometimes,
Uh-huh.
at some point there's got to be something in us that says, you know what, I'm not going to let that be my story, or you know what, I guess that's what it is. So what did it do for you at that point?
What it did for me was it kept me going, and I remember that as a kid in school, I would always, not saying being competitive, but I would see somebody else do something good. I said
Right,
I'm gonna try to do something better or
right,
be more hungry for it. So I
right, right.
remember, I would read books, I would read poems, because to
Nice.
me, schoolwork is important. Like
Oh yeah.
it still is. That's one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I love both music and schoolwork, but it just
That's
kept me
good.
going. And sometimes when people get discouraged, you have to be confident in yourself at all
Oh yeah.
times. You can't just go into the sunset and be like, oh, I'm just not this. And my
Right,
dad and parents all told me, like, if you believe it, then you gonna start believing it.
right.
So I
That's
just
true.
said, then, because stuttering, it was a hard thing. Because I remember in elementary, a couple kids and couple kids in middle school too, like they would be picking at me,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's just kids
Yeah,
gonna do that. Like I'm just,
yeah.
but I've grown out of that, and how to be secure with my own self and be confident in what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and just keep pushing forward and doing it for God, because it's always about God at the end of the day. Like it's
Most
not
definitely.
about proving or showing what you got. Everything given to you is by God. And so,
Amen.
when I do music, I always talk about things that, like real things, like, going through doubting yourself and
Right.
insecurities and stuff like that. Because everyone is flawed and everyone has their own issues
Oh yeah.
at the end of the day. But I just said that, you just keep going forward and try to inspire someone who's not comfortable with themselves.
Right. Right.
And I remember also what fueled me was that, when I first started rapping, man, like it just felt weird. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
still feel weird now because I'm still
Yeah.
young,
I feel
but
you.
I mean, it just like I will rap something, people be like, "Oh man, that was awesome." I'm like, to me, it didn't feel like it was good,
Right.
but
Right.
okay, like, but just seeing people smile and people being bright of the
Right.
day about what I say or what I do, it really means a lot to me. Like
Oh
everything
yeah.
else doesn't matter. Like
Mm-hmm.
God helped that on the back end.
Oh
So
yeah. Definitely. Definitely. The one thing that I can tell is that allowing yourself, you've allowed yourself to like really, I think, hold on to your parents' teachings, and that's good because especially being so young. I have an older son who's 24, just turned 24, so you're not that much younger than him. You know what I mean? And I'm viewing you as kind of like how a parent would view you in the sense of like knowing that you've gone through some things, but you've had that support system. So speaking of the support system in itself, how much support do you get from your parents as well as like the rest of your family in regards to what you want to do musically? And then we'll touch on the other stuff in regards to what you're learning and whatnot in school.
yeah, musically, my parents have been like real supportive, and I mean, it like real supportive. Like they'll be like, "Oh, you need are you going?" They'll just come out. "Oh, you going to the studio today?" Yeah, ma. I probably go to the studio. "Oh, do you need anything?"
Right.
"No, ma. I'm just gonna do my thing,
That's good.
buy them hours, and just get out of
Right,
there."
right.
uh, but
Yeah,
they've been real supportive, and
that's
and
good.
thankful for peers and mentors that
Hmm.
I've had in the past. They're real supportive.
That's
So
good. That's good. And they brought you up in the church, or was it something that you ended up
yeah,
doing
my
by yourself?
yeah, my parents brought me up in the
Oh,
church.
okay.
My dad's a minister, and my
Oh, okay.
mom is a principal.
Oh, okay.
So
Got you. Okay, so they cracking the whip on both sides then, huh?
right.
Yeah. Now, does mom bring the principal home every now and
She might
then?
she might bring it home every
Right, right, right.
every every now and then, but mom gonna be mom now.
Exactly, exactly.
There's no principal in mom. Mom is mom.
That's right. That's right. That's true. That's true. So now let's get into your influence in regards to what you're learning in school. So again, tell me what it was again. Forensic science, you said?
Yeah, forensic science.
Yeah. So what led to that? Like, cause there's a lot of things that people, especially as kids, we tend to grab on to things that we remember from those times when it was like, okay, this interested me and that interested me. So what was it about forensic science that
Forensic
got you?
science is was interesting to me. It first got introduced to me by a high school teacher. He was African. He was real smart. He talked about chemistry,
Right.
and he talked about what he did in graduate school, what
Oh,
his
okay.
thesis was, what he studied. And he
Nice.
didn't really go into depth in class. When you teaching in class, you have to teach a certain curriculum and you have to
Right.
apply to that in order to reach certain objectives or goals.
Right. Right.
So I remember one day I think it was after school or something, and I needed help because we had a EOG, or I think like an EOG integrated exam. I don't know what the other word is for it, but we had one of
Oh,
them.
okay.
And I said I needed help for it because I
Mm-hmm.
was studying for it. And when you study for something, sometimes it doesn't click. So you might have to
Right.
reach out for help or get something to make it click.
Right.
So he was teaching me things about how to measure an element in nature by a
Mm-hmm.
balance, and an analytical balance. It's like this
Right.
thing where you measure different substances or drugs.
Right.
And he was
Right.
telling me of how he studied drugs
Mm-hmm.
and what type of tests. And he was showing me, and he had these big old microscopes. And I'm sitting there
Mm.
like, this dude got all these microscopes come out, and he was showing me his thesis one day.
Right.
I was like, wow, this guy is really doing it. And he told me about how certain tests and certain tests don't work.
Right.
What would be your, hypothesis? How would you test that error?
Right.
How would you know you have an error in what you collect in data? And so I was like, man, like that's very interesting. He talked
Yeah.
about how he studied heroin, I think, for one of his
Wow.
thesis. He studied
Uh,
meth, he studied a whole lot of different drugs and how to, do different tests with them.
right.
And so
Now
when
I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry, real quick. So just so that whoever's watching this understands what's meant behind testing the drugs, we want we want to make sure he's not like, nope, can't do that one. So, what do you, what's meant by like how would he test the drugs in regards to
Oh, how he would test.
people?
He would study them under a microscope. So when you do in
Right, right,
forensics or anything, you're studying a microscope. You're looking for certain characteristics of you. You might have a standard reference sample
right,
of what a drug might look like,
right.
and you have to look at certain characteristics. You might have to do a color test, a
Oh,
color
okay,
test
gotcha,
of
gotcha.
certain different. You might put a chemical on it. Okay,
Right.
does this chemical align with the reference I have
Ah,
to
got you, got you.
specifically identify that
Right.
type of drug you're studying? And he showed me all his, thesis, what his research was like.
Uh,
He had like a 30 to 40 page research thing.
wow.
Yeah, he was he
Whew.
that yeah, I mean, I in my undergrad, I think I wrote a 25-page writing and a discipline research
Hmm.
on one of my courses. I had to write
Nice,
that. So, and
nice. Wow.
also, and when I was in college,
Hmm.
I had forensic microscopy, where and that sounds like a whole lot of
Wow. Yeah. No
information.
kidding.
So we used to study drugs by doing
Hmm.
different tests. I think we also studied how to use a microscope properly and how to use certain features. Like you can turn a microscope off and on by turning like a certain lens. If you turn a certain lens this way, your eyes will view it in a different way.
Right. Right.
So it was very interesting.
Huh.
So we used to have labs twice a week, and that's all we did. We just collect
Wow.
data and how
Uh
to
huh.
critically think through that stuff. Because some
Right.
forensics is
Right.
not nothing where information drops in the sky. Oh, here it is.
Right.
You
Right.
have to
Right.
critically think
Yeah.
through that
Yeah.
stuff, and
Wow.
figure out what's going on and how to go about it. So,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
after forensic microscopy, I said I still was influenced, so I decided to go about um, doing it in graduate school,
That's
but
awesome.
more on the criminal
Right.
justice side and doing crime statistics and doing data.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely have to be that type of person that's like real gung ho about learning stuff like that, and obviously interested in what the outcome is on all those things. That's awesome, man. That's real cool. That's real cool. So now, how do you or do you ever find yourself being influenced from that and bringing it into music?
How I look at chemistry and how I look at music is more of learning, and how
Mm,
the weird thing about it was in music that I'm trying to learn now is grow vocabulary, because when I
right,
was an undergraduate, when you write lab reports, man, you gotta know how to use that
right.
vocabulary like it's
Mm-hmm.
no tomorrow. You might be in the middle of a presentation where you're presenting in front of 20, 30 faculty staffs,
Right,
and they might ask you a question, and they might say, "What does such and such thing mean?" And you're
right,
sitting there like, you heard the what is,
right,
but you
right.
don't know what the other words mean. So I just said, I tried to challenge myself. Okay, if I can learn vocabulary and rap from different other artists
Right,
like Seven and all them other guys, I
right.
can try to learn vocabulary with my field of study
Yeah,
as well. So I tried to take it as a learn objective, learn new vocabulary words, learn how to phrase things in a way where it's understandable and coherent.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so that's how I view
That's
it.
cool. That's cool. That's and that's appreciated too because sometimes I think the world has a tendency to believe that people in music, especially people in hip hop, have like just this one side to them. You know what I mean? And then when you find out that they've actually got different facets, excuse me, of their own character, their own personality, different things that they're interested in or whatever, or they stopped doing music altogether and started doing something else because they actually had a backup plan. You know what I mean? Or maybe music was their backup plan. It's cool to know that there's more than just one side to artists itself, especially brand new artists. You know what I'm saying? So that's really dope. I like listening to that. That's
Because
really cool.
um because that's one thing you said too, excuse me. Most people don't see music by me because when I'm in class, I don't usually talk about in
Gotcha.
undergrad, most of my classes were early in the morning
Mm,
and mid afternoon. When I'm going to college, I go to class.
right.
Most professors don't care about no rap, no music when you in
Right.
them
Right.
classrooms. You better do the work,
Right.
do the work, get the grade you want, and earn. I say
Mm-hmm.
earn,
Right.
and just and get out of there.
Yeah.
And because teachers, I mean, rap is cool and everything, but when I'm in them classrooms, I want you to learn more about
Right. Right.
me and that material. I don't want you to learn about me material. Oh, he
Right.
does rap, because most people
Right.
get
Right.
that negative
Sure do. Sure do.
connotation about rap because I've experienced it myself when I
Right.
went through undergrad,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I've experienced that.
Right. Right. Now, not unless you're able to do like a presentation where you actually hook it up like a song and you you know what I'm saying. You're proving to them, see, I can use music along with my studies.
Right, right.
So now I want to get into your album. Now, one thing I've noticed, I think I asked you this before when we were prepping for today. I noticed that you don't seem to have anything on any digital platforms except for Audio Mac. Now, was that on purpose or was
that
that
was
because you have some other kind of plan that you have?
that was just really on purpose, man, because that
Mm.
was like my first mixtape. I was learning.
Oh, gotcha.
I was trying to find my way to learn how to,
Hmm.
buy beats, and it's hard buying beats from
Yeah.
producers because they're not going. Some producers are not going to give up their platform. When I did that
Right.
tape, some of them were like free. I think two songs were like tracks. I just didn't have the budget
Oh,
or
yeah.
some type of budget to get that, really that beat or that least. I
Yeah.
was just saying, hey, I'm just gonna put this out. It's like my first tape. I'm not
Right.
big.
Right.
Let me see if I can get feedback
Mm.
and learn
Gotcha.
from it. So
Kind
it
of
was
like a
just,
tester, right?
huh?
Kind of like a tester.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
needed a
Yeah.
tester because I really didn't put out no music. Only thing I would put out is IG freestyle
Got you. Right.
or
Right.
a or a think on my SoundCloud. I
Hmm.
think I put like a remix or something, but it was just like IG freestyles of challenges and
Mm.
just getting on random remix beats and
Right.
just spitting like 16 bars to them and just post them on IG. It was
Hmm.
just a tester.
Got you.
So
Yeah,
I
man.
got more planned after that though.
Got you, got you. Okay. That was
So
actually going to be my next question, whether or not you got anything else planned, because, one thing that I have noticed on just on the one page now is for those of you watching, it's audiomac.com /Phillip dash 505. Is that correct?
mm, yep.
Cool. Now I want you guys to go ahead and check out his album that he has on there. It's
Well, that's
called
my
Lord Open.
mixtape.
Oh, mixtape. I apologize.
Mixtape.
Lord Open My Eyes, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Now I remember we talked about this one before, and the first song that caught my attention only because I heard the hook before was "Love Unconditional."
Hmm.
That's the one that I had said I'm not sure if it was Kriston Gray, but it sounded like him. Now, do you remember whether or not that was from him or?
I don't really know who that
Oh,
is.
okay.
So
Yeah, because I remember hearing that beat because I've done the same thing. I've looked online, YouTube and whatnot, search type beats, you know what I mean? And sometimes this was just to get some kind of inspiration, to produce my own stuff. But I remember coming across that one before and I thought it was dope. And I'm glad to see that somebody did something with it that, I mean, you got some real good meat on there, man. And it was real nice. The sound was real nice. Before we get into Down on My Knees, how did you get into choosing these songs just for this particular mixtape? Was there any kind of plan behind it, or did you just say,
the
you know what, let me
plan,
just put it together?
it was just, it was like both, because I said when I did my tape, I said, I said it's my first one. The ideas have come through time. I said let me think of something. So first track I got, I was okay. I can use for an intro.
Yeah.
And the other ones, I said, but I need me a strong song where I get two people on it, like two people on it, like we just go, we
Let's
just
go.
go
Right.
in and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
spit like that.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. So I was going through type beats and certain beats. I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
this down on my knees joint, man. This thing, I'm sitting like,
Yeah.
man, oh man. I said, let me
Yeah. It
send it
definitely
to
is.
Time is coming. Every hour wasted turns to a minute overdue, and every minute falls to a second like the number two. Two fingers crossed like I'm building up the better you. And when it come to lyrics, show
I
up.
can't. I can't even tell you, just from start to finish. To be honest with you, it's such a dope song. But I wanna find out two things from you on that. So first of all, what was the main inspiration on that particular song in itself?
So that song, man, it was uh I remember I got the beat and I said, okay, down on my knees. I said, we need to, cause the both of the guys I'm real cool with. I still have contact with them. Their name is
Oh, cool.
Kobe, and the
Right.
other one is named Gregory Luster.
Yeah.
And so I remember I called, Kobe,
Hmm.
Jay. He was like, man, Phil, I'm ready.
Yeah.
We go and get the beat, and let's go ahead and get going, man. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. You the way you killing people versus like not straight me. I mean, that's just what
But
you
you ain't
think.
gonna show me, huh?
Yeah, you're not gonna scrape me. And
Right. Right. Right.
and Greg is more as a he's more like that quiet type, and that's how
Oh,
I
okay.
am. I'm more quiet. I'm more laid back. But
Yeah.
when he sent me the verse next day, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to rewrite my whole. I mean, I wrote
Right.
my
Right.
verse. I was confident, and then when I heard Greg verse, I said I'm gonna have to rewrite it
Right.
again.
Right.
Cause no
Like no,
way,
it don't match. Yeah, I feel you.
because the way they're coming on it, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, like this supposed to be my track. Like, why y'all doing my track?
But you know
Like,
what? You know what's funny about that? My son was talking about the same thing the other day. We were talking about how people have done certain stuff like that, and it's good to be around people that can force you to be better. A lot of times people will look at it as like, oh, it's a competition. Oh, well, I'm gonna beat you at your own game kind of thing. Whereas what it should be is you could look at it as friendly competition or whatever, but more or less a thing of somebody else encouraging you to be better at your craft. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that we all have at least one person. If you're blessed enough to have more than one person that pushes you like that, that's cool. You know what I mean? Especially when they're so quick to bring it back to you. You're like, oh no, 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 no. Like that meme with that lady from Get Out. No, 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 no. We ain't gonna do that. No, because you realize just how bomb that person's verse is and just how much they added to what you gave them, added to your song, and you're like, you know what? I may want to go back to the drawing board, but
yeah,
that's
I had
good.
to.
Yeah. So then,
Cause
so am I assuming that you had like you had a verse that maybe wasn't as like on the same level as
it
the one that you
wasn't
spit on
like it
on
wasn't.
wax?
It was that verse was like I wrote it. I was like, oh, because originally it was supposed to be me and Kobe on it. But
Oh, okay.
then I said, nah,
A
we need to have
third.
more.
Yeah.
We ain't just not gonna throw no beat away like that. Let me
Right.
get
Right.
more.
Yeah.
Cause I'm sitting there, cause I've heard Kobe spit, and
Uh huh.
I was like, okay, I can, I'm not saying I'm better than him because
Right.
he got more experience. Both of them have more experience than me.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
I said, man, like I said, if me and Kobe on there, I know I'm gonna do my thing. But then he
Yeah.
was like, nah, you need to go get Greg. I said, oh Lord. I said, this man, like, I said, okay, let me go get Greg. Dude, give me the first. I'm like, this dude is trying to eat my track. I said, hold on, I'm gonna have to go back again. And I think I told my friends, I said, it's a difference when you in the studio by yourself. You
Right.
know you confident, going
Right,
crazy.
right,
Oh, I
right.
killed that. When you with somebody better, elite, you like, hold on, I'm at to
Right.
slow it down.
But
That's how I
even then
felt.
though, yeah, even then though, even if you guys were all in the same studio session together, you know what I mean? Let's just say, for instance, because
Yeah, because we all were.
yeah. Oh, you were. Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
you
it
meant you
was.
were not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were.
And that vibe right there lets you know, like, oh, whoa, okay, all right, all right. Well, since we're here,
Right.
but again, it's good to have people like that that will be able to um, communicate to you the best way and in an encouraging way. Because sometimes
Right.
people don't
That's
know how
the
to be
thing.
encouraging, you know what I'm saying? But to encourage you in the way of like, and to tell you straight up, because I mean, honestly, I don't want yes people around me. If I'm messing up, you tell me I'm messing up, and I'll just have to make sure that I throw my pride aside and just do what I'm being told, because the people that are around me sometimes will know better, and I should say really most of the time will know better than me, and be able to tell me, now you need to do this again because it doesn't sound like how you were explaining, and it's just good to have those kind of people around you, because then you know that they push you to be better. You know what I'm saying?
Because during
Yeah.
that time, I was just doing the music for fun. But when Greg
Right.
and them got on, I'm like, man, I'm gonna treat this like a career. Cause they
Right.
ain't treating it like no fun thing.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Now I'm
So
gonna have to go back and make sure I reach out to them as well, because yeah, they sounded real dope on it too. So
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, the one thing I was gonna say about this too. Who produced this particular one?
It was his name is Tone Jones.
Oh
He's like a
yes,
producer. Yeah.
I know exact. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Tone Jones is like I said, he's a good producer, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think like my mentors, couple music mentors I have and people that's brothers in the music, they told me, I think they were like, I think it's time for you to step out
Yeah.
of that sound, man, because at, it's nothing wrong with, getting them beats,
Right.
like for my next project, man, I might use like one Tone
Got
Jones
you.
and that's it
Got you.
because he's not bad, but when you have so many different people on them beats, it just
Yeah.
it kind of messes up things.
Yeah.
And because I just grabbed different beats of what I heard off YouTube. Oh, I like that one. Let me
Right.
grab that one.
Right. Right.
I like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you don't think about it. You just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Let me grab it.
So moving forward from this point, then what do you want to see yourself doing in regards to your next project, and do you think you'll be making that available through all platforms?
Oh, this next project, man. I'm gonna be honest. I could see like it really doing something because there's one song called
Amen.
that it's one called Through the Storm.
Mm.
I'm talking about you might have saw on my IG though. It
I
was
think so. Yeah.
a blue cover with me looking up and it looked like these thunder
Oh
storms.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one gonna be real special because I'm
Okay.
talking
Cool.
about a mental storm. I'm gonna drop that one. It's gonna be another one I'm gonna drop. Then it's probably
Right.
my project. Just to build momentum. Just don't want to
Right.
just drop the whole thing.
True. True. Yeah. For down on my knees, normally I like to pick, and I say this a lot of times when I just want to hear what the artist has to say, because I'm not gonna lie, you three made it a little difficult for me to pick a favorite line. So, for you, for you, what would you say is one of your favorite lines from this particular song?
It doesn't have to be me or somebody
Yeah,
like.
it could be any one of the
I
verses.
mean, I just said. I think one of the lines were like, "Every hour wasted turns to a minute overdue." That was like my favorite line.
Man,
Because we just every time is closing in. Everybody don't have a whole lot of time in this era.
right,
God is coming back, So when I heard that, that was my favorite line.
Yeah.
Another one was um um Kobe's "Why the World Gotta Be So Cold." That was like the opening. The other
Uh,
one was it was dealing with um it was the Greg part. I forgot which line he said. What did he say? He said something about praying that the captain is able to escape. It was the Greg part. I was like, oh, what did he say? Like, it was, I can't remember. You have to go back and listen to it, but they
right,
were,
right.
you know, them
Gotcha.
were like my favorite lines.
Yeah, and that whole entire song. I mean, the cool thing about dealing with somebody like Tone Jones is knowing that you're gonna get some kind of fire. You know what I mean? Because I'll admit, just hearing that and that bass going through, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
could feel that, and you guys really came with it on that song. So I really give you guys a salute to that one,
yeah. I'm
most
working
definitely.
with one of them on this new song as well. So I got so
Good.
much stuff. So
Awesome, awesome. So speaking of which, before I let you go, and before I ask you, your social media and all that stuff, when do you anticipate for this new project to be out?
new project, man. With me being in grad school, man. Lord knows, but
Right.
in my heart, I could say possibly by the end of the year or beginning of next year, like real beginning, like
Awesome.
soon probably New Year or sometime in January beginning,
Gotcha.
I'm gonna drop it because thing about me is yeah, once I get that one song going, one
Yeah.
song gonna turn to six probably within that
Right.
first week. Like
Oh yeah.
that's how I get because I don't really say much, but when I'm locked in that zone, I don't really see nothing like in my way. I'm just going straight through it.
Awesome. Right. Right. So your social media, just to make sure that we get people on here that want to look for you and whatnot. How can they reach you on Instagram? Do you have Facebook or whatever? Oh, you might be too young for the Facebook,
Oh yes.
huh?
Oh man, you done lost your mind, man. Come on, man. Nah, I got a Facebook.
Okay,
I know
cool,
I'm only
cool.
23, man. But my Instagram is P_Martin98. Facebook is Phillip Martin. Um, Twitter is Phillip Martin as well. I think I have to go back and look on Twitter. But yeah, y'all
Awesome.
can reach me on Instagram, Facebook. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So everybody out there, do him a favor, do me a favor as well. Make sure you go and get Lord Open My Eyes from Phillip Martin at audiomac.com/Philip with two L's, not one, two L's.
Right, 2L.
Yes, dash 505. Make sure you listen to Down on My Knees so you can get the whole entire vibe of Kobe J and Gregory Luster as well. That's featured on that song. Make sure you look out for more music on him. And before I let you go, very last question. Um, can you remember at least one of the illest lines that you ever heard that made an impact on you?
One illest line was that made an impact on me in this interview was doing things with purpose, like you just said. Like doing things, make sure you're
Oh, well,
praying.
amen.
And so that had really touched me because sometimes we get so deep doing things
True.
and we just forget
Yeah.
about that. So that's one thing that can be applied to my music and grad school and what I'm
Amen.
doing future endeavors. So
That's right. That's right. Much appreciated on that as well. And man, I can't wait to hear the new stuff that you're coming with. Much appreciated of your time. I thank you so much that you were patient with me and allowing me to be able
no
to get
problem,
this
man. It's
interview
no
with
big
you.
deal.
Tell your parents I said what's up. We go way back.
I will.
All right. And honestly, if there's anything that you need from me, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to hit me up, man.
I will. Thank you.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.